Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Pastor's Study. You know, Solomon is asking a question. What makes us happy? What brings satisfaction and joy to our life? You know, he talks about wealth and poverty. He talks about using those things. He talks about people loving those things. But then he talks about what out of all of that brings happiness. You know, he says the poor individual, he says, you know, he's going to be hated by the neighbors. And I don't know why. Solomon doesn't really get into it. A lot of times individuals, you know, they're quick to beg and borrow and sometimes even take what's not theirs. And maybe that's part of the reason why a neighbor would hate someone who's poor. But he says a person who's rich, a lot of people will like them. They like people with money. People like people with money. But he says that's not something we should go after. We shouldn't be going after rich people to like them just because they have money. And then he says, you know, when you despise your neighbor, that's sin. So if you look at a neighbor who has a great deal of wealth and you despise that wealth and you become angry, that bitterness boils up inside you, what a challenge. What a challenge for us to consider. He says that is sin. But he gives a contrast. He says, you know, but happy is the one who is gracious to the poor. So he's been talking about having no wealth, having wealth, looking to people who have wealth. But he says where the happiness comes from and all of that, it's that individual who has the means to help the poor, who gives to the poor. Now, some of that giving may be in the form of employment, not just a handout, but helping them get their life back, helping them get an education, helping them be secure, be safe, to learn, to teach them things so that they can be successful in life. Because he talks about, he says, you know, there is profit in labor. When we work hard, there will be profit. There will be something that comes our way if we work at it, if we work hard. But he said, you know, if we sit back and we have these, I like to call them pipe dreams, you know, we have this dream of becoming really wealthy and we can devise this great plan and we can talk about a wonderful business plan, but it never comes to reality. He says there's poverty there. He says the crown of the wise men will be their riches. But he said the foolishness, the folly of the fool will be foolishness. So think about it. What are you striving for? What are you going after? Till next time in the Pastor's Study, I'm Ray Bertolet saying goodbye and may God bless.